So the weapon will form, but it will not prosper. Today we're going to look at Numbers chapter 22 through 24. And this is a story that you may be familiar with. And if you're not familiar with the whole story, you're probably familiar with the one part of the story where the donkey speaks. Everybody says, God can use anything. He even used the donkey. He spoke through the donkey. So you've probably heard that part of the story. But the whole story is what we're going to talk about today. It is Balaam and Balak, and how they tried to curse the children of Israel, but that they tried to form the weapon, but the weapon did not prosper. So it's Numbers chapter 22 through chapter 24 where all of this starts to take place. So what's going on is, let's set the scene. So the children of Israel have been led out of Egypt, and everybody pretty much knows what God has done for them and how God has been so gracious, and how they're out of the wilderness. But now the children of Israel are in the plains of Moab. And so they're right across from Jericho. And we all know about Jericho, how Jericho is the place where Joshua fought his battle and marched around the walls, and they came tumbling down. Well, this is before that happens, before the children of Israel even get to that point of marching around the city, the wall, city of Jericho. They first go to Moab in verse 2. So that's what happens in verse 1. You kind of find out the background that the children of Israel are in the plains of Moab and where Moab is. Okay, so then we move on to verse 2, and we find out about Balak. So Balak is the king of Moab, and his father is a man named Zippor. Zippor means sparrow or little bird. Sparrows will fly at the slightest movement, and that kind of like stuck out a little bit, because even though that's his father's name, Zippor, which means sparrow, and the sparrows move at a little bit of movement. It's funny how his son Balak would just get startled by a little bit of movement from the children of Israel. So they come and they just rattle him up. They get him scared and anxious, because they know that when the children of Israel come through, their God is with them, and he will fight for them. And so we should remember that today, when we are going through things, or when we're just in life, when we're just living life, that God got us. He's with us, and he will continue to be with us as long as we stay in his will. And we'll see the importance of that as we keep going through this story. So Balak is the king of Moab. Moab is the place where the children of Israel have now settled, right? So Balak knew of the great things that God had done for the Israelites, and what they did to the Amorites, or what God had did through them to the Amorites, because we all know that it's God's power. Without God's power, we're not able to do a lot of the things that we can do. A lot of the miraculous things would not be done. So the children of Israel have been spotted by the Moabites. And the Moabites they're shaking. They're shaking in their boots, because they already know, like, this could go bad for us, right? So they have a king who knows that the people of Israel are covered by their God. He knows that. He knows that God wins battles for his people. He goes to bat for his people, okay? And everybody knows it, right? So the king of the Moabites, Balak, he is afraid. And now the people of his kingdom are also afraid. So you have a leader that's afraid, and you also have the people following him that are, under his leadership. They're afraid. So Balak knows he has to take control of the situation, and he has to show the Moabites that they are safe under his rule. So he is willing. His mindset is, I'm going to do what I got to do for my people. He's willing to do anything, right? So the Moabite people complained to the elders that the Israelites would consume everything. So they're complaining. Their king is upset. Something has to be done. So Balak's he sent messengers to get Balaam. He is a diviner, and he has an international reputation. So he's known. He's very much known for all of the divining work that he does. Because Balak says, I know that whoever you curse is cursed, and whoever you bless, they're blessed. So he is known for doing his job and doing it well. And we've heard stories of people who maybe have gotten out of the occult and come into the Christianity world, and they've said, similar things. Like, I know there was one guy who said that he was, on top of things as a sorcerer, and he would, when somebody asked for something to get done, he was getting it done. And so people would come to him because they knew that he was going to get the job done, and he would make money. They would give him money. So right here is telling us that King Balak, he sends money for the princess to go get Balaam, because he knows that Balaam can get the job done as a diviner. He wants the people cursed. So he sends the messengers, because the people that came from out of Egypt, they're taking up space next to him. He doesn't want these people next to him. So in verse 6, Balak tells Balaam that the Israelites are too powerful, and he needs Balaam to put a curse on them, because he would be able to defeat them and make them leave the land. So the only way that he knows that he can beat these people is to put a curse on them. Not for him to do anything in the natural, not to fight them toe to toe, but he's got to do something spiritual. That's how he feels about the situation. I got to do something about them. Remember, the Bible tells us that our fight is not against flesh and blood, but it's against principalities and forces and rulers of the air. There's people, spirits that will influence people. And that is where our fight is from. Our fight is not the actual person, but the spirit that's behind it. So a lot of people will go, to those means of, getting some spiritual backing. But people of God, we don't have to worry about that. Just keep listening to the story. So he wants them to leave the land. So he wants to put a curse on the people. So he says he knows that Balaam can do it. Whoever Balaam curses is cursed, and whoever he blesses is blessed. So in verse 7, the elders of Moab and Midian. So not only does King Balak get his people, but he also tells the people in Midian that they need to get in on this too, because these people is about to take over, right? So the elders of Moab and Midian, they leave with the divination fee to take to Balaam. So they like, we finna get this job done. We got some money. We're going to give this to Balaam. We finna go find him so that our people can, so that he could put the curse on them, and then our people can drive them out the land. We got to curse these people in order to get rid of them, right? So that's their thought process. So they tell Balaam what Balak wants done. And so Balak says, okay, well, I'm going to need y'all to spend the night, because I need to consult with the Lord. Now, Balaam is just wanting to work with whatever God he got to work with. He's just trying to get his job done. So he goes and he talks to the Lord. He goes and he talks to the Lord, right? He's a diviner. So, nope. God doesn't just talk to the saved person. Doesn't just talk to people who are doing things his way, who are in his will. He also talks to the people who are outside of his will. The Bible is just telling us, like in my my study Bible, it tells me at the bottom that Balaam is a diviner. And if you're a diviner, that means that you're not you don't have a relationship with God. You are doing something that is outside of what he wants his people to do. It's outside of the will for his people to be a diviner. So right there we know that Balaam isn't exactly a follower of the Lord. And back in this time, he, in order for God to have a covenant with you, you would have to be a part of the Israelite, the children of Israelite. Now we do know that Rahab wasn't exactly an Israelite, but she helped the children of Israel, and they made a covenant with her. But back to Balaam. So Balaam goes to God. He tells the guys that come from Moab and Midian, he says, all right, I'm going to talk to the Lord. I want y'all to stay the night, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to tell y'all what the Lord says, because I'm going to consult with the Lord. Okay. So Balaam goes to God, and God asks who were the men that were with him. And so Balaam tells God who they were and what Balak wanted. He pretty much tells God, Balaam tells God that these men are Moabites and Midianites, and they were sent by Balak. They were sent by Balak. And what Balak wants to do, he wants to curse the people. He wants me to put the curse on the people. Can I curse the people? And God's like, no, absolutely not. Those my people. You ain't finna curse my people. So God tells Balaam that he can't go with them because they want him to come with them back to the land so that they can curse, so that he can curse the Israelites. So God says, no, you can't come with them because they are people that I have already blessed. When God has already blessed you, the curse is not coming, okay? They leave. They go back and tell Balak that, nope, he can't do it. He says he's not going to do it. God told him no. So Balak is not taking no for an answer. Balak says, all right, I'm going to get some more people. So he sends some of his princes. He says that, they're a little bit more, they got a little bit more of a authority. I'm going to send them, and they're going to get the job done. So he sends them. Pretty much the same thing happens. Balaam tells them to spend the night. He's going to go consult the Lord. They come to him, and they're like, he wants you to get the job done, and he sent money. Like he's paying you handsomely. You should do this. So he's like, I'm still not going to do nothing. I got to go consult with the Lord. I got to go talk to the Lord, and then I'll let you know. So you spend the night, and I'll let you know what happens. I'll let you know what he says. So God tells him, absolutely not. Like, you are not cursing my people. That's just paraphrasing it. He's like, no, you're not doing that. Those are my people. We're not doing that. There's no reason for these people, my people, to be cursed. We're not having that. Eventually, God tells him, okay, go ahead with them. But you're not going to say anything that is outside of what I want you to say. You say what I want you to say. So Balaam is like, okay, the donkey comes in it. So when he goes with the Midianites and the Moabites, the donkey starts to act up. God was still angry. God is still upset that these people want to curse his people. So God is upset. Look how God cares about you so much. You just don't know how much God cares about us behind the scenes. He gets angry with the people who are trying to plot against you. So you can sleep well knowing that God he's in control, and he's going to take care of it. He's not going to just sit down and just let it happen. He going to take care of it. So God is still angry. So what he does is he sends the angel of the Lord. And the angel of the Lord stands between Balaam and his donkey. Balaam's riding on his donkey. The angel of the Lord stands there. The donkey sees the angel of the Lord, but Balaam doesn't know that the angel of the Lord is there. So the donkey responds, and the donkey stops. Verse 23, when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hands, he ain't playing. She turned off the road into a field. Balaam beat her to get back on the road. So the donkey sees the angel of the Lord with that sword drawn. He ready, he on go. And the donkey's like, I don't want no parts of that. She goes off the road into a field. Balaam beats her, right? So then the angel, they get back on the road. Then the angel, verse 24, then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between two vineyards with walls on both sides. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat her again. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. And he was angry and he beat her with his staff. So he beat her 3 times. And so now, the Lord, in verse 28, the Lord opened the donkey's mouth. And she said to Balaam, just think about how many of these animals really want to say something to y'all. And what if the Lord just opened their mouths like he did to the donkey? What would your animal say to you? If your animal could talk, what would your animal say to you? She said to Balaam, the donkey said to Balaam, what have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times? Balaam answered the donkey, you have made a fool of me. If I had a sword in my hand now, that's what he said to the donkey. Now he is not alarmed that this donkey is talking to him. But he even proceeds to tell this donkey that he was going to take her out. If he had a sword, he would take her out. And so the donkey replies. She says, am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you? She's like, look, you're not understanding. Don't you think that something is going on here? Because I've been your donkey for a long time. And I usually don't do stuff like this. Like, would you stop and think? Come on, think. So the donkey, Balaam agrees, like, no, you've never done stuff like this before. So verse 31, then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. And then he fell face down and bowed to worship the angel. Verse 32, the angel of the Lord asked him, why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If she had not turned away, I would serve by now. But I would have spared her. He's like, I was going to take you out. But I was going to be okay with the donkey. She was going to live. The donkey was going to live. So the angel of the Lord tells him that the donkey saw him with his sword drawn. And he was going to take him out because he had been he's going on a reckless path. And he's trying to warn him. And the donkey was trying to warn him because he didn't see the angel of the Lord, but the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, and she's like, nope, we don't need to be doing this. Abort mission. And Balaam, of course, is like, I'm trying to go, so I can curse these people. Sometimes we get good distractions. That was a good distraction, that the donkey was doing what she did. She got off the path. She laid down. She was not with it because she saw that angel. See, isn't it something that even the animals know? They know authority. They know the one and true God. They know. And she was going to, she was trying to warn him, like she didn't want to, keep going on that path, but he wasn't listening because, God had already told him, okay, go ahead. But God was just still angry about it. And he's just like, look, let me talk to you a little bit more because you're not finna go curse my people. So Balaam confesses that he sinned, and he didn't realize that the angel of the Lord was standing there. He said, but if you want me to go back, I'll go back. But the angel of the Lord tells him to go on with the men and speak only what I tell you. So he went with the princess of Balak. So Balak, from there, Balak tells him that he wants him to curse the children of Israel. He takes Balaam to a spot where he can see the children of Israel, so he can observe them. And basically, he sets up all these altars and sacrifices these animals. And he's hoping that this is enough for the Lord to be like, yeah, go ahead, curse my people. But that doesn't happen. He keeps going back to God. Balak keeps going to Balaam saying, hey, let's try this. Now see if God will let you curse the people. And God's like, no, you can't curse my people. So that ends up happening. Actually, what Balaam ends up doing is blessing the people, because he pretty much says what the Lord says about the people. The Lord didn't have nothing bad to say about his people. But later we find out that Balaam, he ends up being by the Lord, because he ends up going against what the Lord wanted. Even though he didn't actually do anything to the children of Israel, the children of Israel end up doing it to themselves because of his suggestion. So his suggestion was that he gets the children of Israel to get into immorality, actual immorality with the women of the land, with the Moabite women and the Midianite women. And of course God says, no, don't do that, because what will happen is you will bow down to their gods, and you will no longer, have that communion with me. You will now have prostituted yourself out with another god. So we see that happen a lot in the Bible, where he says, that the children of Israel they've prostituted themselves. So that just means that they are serving another god. When he says that they went a whoring, that's what that means. So because you're supposed to be in a marriage with God, and when you step outside of the marriage, then that's when that whole word comes into play. But the thing is, what we have to remember is that God has our back. As long as we are in his will, we will see the presence of the Lord in our lives. He will show up, he will show out, he will cause your enemies to go into confusion, and he will get rid of whatever it is in your life that tries to cause you to go into destruction. But it's not until the children of Israel actually stepped outside of what God wanted. They stepped outside of his will, and they were able to pretty much curse themselves, because now they've stepped into the immorality. They got with the Midianite and the Moabite women, and of course that was against what God wanted. And so now their enemies are able to have access to them, or God was able to punish them because of the things that they have done. So now the enemy is like, oh, well, I kind of, I was able to accomplish what I wanted. I wanted them to, come to destruction. And so we have to remember that we are the ones who can get ourselves in trouble. It's not always that the enemy is cursing us and doing all these extra things to us. But a lot of times we're the ones who do it to ourselves. So we got to remember to just stay in God's will, stay prayed up, make sure that you yield to the Holy Spirit, so that you'll know exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing when you're supposed to be doing. So I hope you got something out of this study. Again, that was Numbers 22 through 24. Go forth in the Lord, be strong and courageous, do not fear, and just mind your business. And the Lord will fight for you as long as you continue to be in his will.